LSU students constantly consume social media, but it's the things some students produce that cause the most harm.
I find Yik Yak incredibly offensive.
Anonymity equals freedom of expression.
The first time I logged onto the app, the first thing I ever saw was the quad at noon. Looks like they're filming Planet of the Apes 3.
And Yik Yak's the same thing. If it's not anonymous, it wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't be as used by college students today. At the same time, there's lots of examples of where it's been used to really discriminate and to really target people.
Reveille opinion columnist Logan Anderson wrote an article proposing that LSU ban Yik Yak from its digital fence.
People did not take very kindly to that. There was a full day of Yik Yak just hating me.
Because I really don't think that banning it is something that is a viable solution, because the second you ban Yik Yak, someone will come up with some sort of an alternative that basically serves the same functionality.
Anderson found that most of the negative feedback from her articles is public, but the people who like her opinions message her privately.
I kind of feed off the negativity. Your first impulse is always going to want to be to argue with people, especially publicly. But I found the much healthier outlet is to just screenshot them and send it in a group message to your friends, and then just let it all out in that private space.
It was in high school, and it was one of those situations where I don't think I realized that I was being cyberbullied until I learned what cyberbullying was as an adult.
After a high school breakup, mass communication senior Sydney Blanchard says a former friend made hurtful anonymous comments on her blog and Formspring page.
She would say things oh, Holden's better off without you now, and which sounds so stupid. I'm a grown-ass woman now, so that doesn't bother me, but at 16, hearing that stuff was really harmful. I kind of just really entered into a depressive state at that point, and it made me really hate social media. And the internet is very conducive to bullying because there is that aspect of anonymity, and so people can say things that they might not normally say behind the computer, and they can be really mean and even say things that they would never say if they were confronted.
We're entering a phase where, there was a lot of concern in the last 10 years about predators of children and unknown people. The research has borne out that is really not a legitimate fear. This is a legitimate concern. I think that minors should be anonymous online, because I say all the time I would hate for what I said when I was 16 to be known to everyone and attached to my identity. We have to educate our kids about what the dangers and perils are there, and also their entire lives shouldn't be lived online, to where that's the be-all, end-all and the only outlet that they have to express themselves, because it's not a safe place for kids.
Research shows teens are more likely to be unkind while using social media, but that doesn't mean young adults on campus are immune to cyberbullying.
Being rude on the internet is the lamest thing in the world, and it's just very immature, but it definitely still happens to people our age.
I have an interesting relationship with cyberbullying in that I was never cyberbullied, but I went through a cyberbullying phase. On Facebook, when you would do those 20-question anonymous notes, I would say very mean things about people and they knew exactly who they were. Or when someone had an opinion that disagreed with, when someone posted an opinion that I disagreed with, I would get on and I would just lambast them, lay people out in a way that was completely disrespectful.
Anderson says she has since learned the more insidious side of cyberbullying, since witnessing her 12-year-old sister struggle to decide whether she wanted to participate in cyberbullying with her friends.
There is an element of positivity to it in terms of bringing up discussion and having these having some things out, but I think there is a negative element when people are being constantly bombarded with negativity online, and that definitely happens to a lot of my friends. I don't even think they know that's happening.
So cyberbullying, especially when it's our age, when it's people over 18 who are out of high school, who are in a world where we like to pretend cyberbullying doesn't exist, it's not so much cyberbullying as what I would call cyber shade, you are subtweeting mean things about people, or you post a Facebook post about someone.
This is where young people sort of congregate nowadays, and whereas it was a shopping mall in the past, it is these spaces now, and they are a lot scarier than shopping malls were.
As an adult, I realized, oh, I could have just like not responded, or I could have just ignored it, but it's a lot harder than that when it's happening to you. It seems stupid when like you hear about it, but it's like actually a thing that a lot of people I think have to deal with, and no one really knows how to have that conversation. And I don't think a Lifetime movie is going to solve that problem.